Hey there, Distance to Be Traveled Catalina crew. We're getting ready for Catalina. We're just about a month away, actually less than a month. And I know you've been asking me, how am I going to pack? How am I going to make all this stuff that I have that I want to bring to Catalina actually make it on the boat? Because we all know we're only allowed 2 major luggage bags, which are going to be in total 37 inches long, 23 inches high, and 23 inches wide. How are we going to make that happen? And I know that you're thinking, God, I need the kitchen sink, I need my dog, I need all this stuff. We're going to pare it way down. Remember, this is Jimmy Buffett style, pirate style kind of fun. But I want to make sure that you're at least comfortable on this Catalina trip. Now the weather can be all over the place, truly, honestly. We won't have a great weather forecast until about a week before. But I looked over the last 10 years historically, no rain. I don't think we have to worry about rain, especially in a drought. And that's for the month of September. Now the temperatures can be anywhere from about mid-60 all the way up to the 90s. Typically for September, it's somewhere between 75 to 85. But once again, we'll know more when we get closer to the week. The things to remember to pack. You don't need a lot. This is really pared down. So if it's going to be a warm weekend, pack shorts. At night, the temperature is probably going to be about 60 to 70 degrees. It rarely goes below 57. So, once again, keep that in mind for the weather. You're probably going to want sweats at night, maybe some pants. I would strongly suggest that you dress up as a pirate for Catalina as we're sailing out, because at least one of those nights, if we get a chance to dance or at least socialize, it might be kind of fun as a pirate. That's not required, so I don't want you fretting over the next 30 days that somehow you have to dress as a pirate. But it can be as simple as an eye patch, maybe just a hat. Beyond that, you know that there's some essential things that you're going to need. You're going to need your toothbrush, you're going to need your deodorant, because I don't care how nice you smell, in nature you do not smell good. Second thing is bring quarters, because there are showers. The showers are approximately about a quarter of a mile away from our campsite. And keep this in mind too. At the campsite, they're chemically pit toilets. Stinky. But if you walk a quarter of a mile down the hill, there are showers, once again, that you need quarters for, and flush toilets. I find that if I have a small bladder and I don't need to go to the restroom, I head down there anyway to use the restroom, so I'm not running down the hill in the middle of the night. Flashlights. Flashlights are going to be really important, especially if you are going to travel back and forth between the campsite down to Two Harbors. And Two Harbors, once again, only a quarter of a mile, really close. You are a hiking club. I just want to remind you of that. Now for the camping portion. There are going to be 2 things that you're going to really need to make sure that you have as you're packing. One is a tape measure of some sort, so you can, once again, measure out 37 inches by 23 inches by 23 inches. You do not want to go over 37 inches. In fact, I would suggest always keeping it shorter than 37 inches. The boat company will not allow you to bring anything over 37 inches long, over 23 inches wide, and 23 inches deep. If you do, you won't be bringing it to Catalina. Now the essentials. You're obviously going to need to sleep good. And in order to do that, you're going to need a sleeping bag, probably a pad, and a tent. If you don't have a tent, you're probably not going to sleep well. And the reason is, sometimes early in the morning the fog rolls in. So if you were thinking about just bringing a cot outside, you can do that, but keep in mind you might get a little bit of moisture on you if that fog does come in. It can happen in September. Now I've packed a couple different ways, and each way I had to use my tape measure, and of course the second thing that I was going to mention is you need a scale. And though you might not want anybody around you when you're using the scale, you do need to use it. Why might you not want anybody around you? Well, in order to get a good measurement, you should get on the scale first, see what your weight is, and then pick up your items that you've packed and get back on the scale to make sure you're not going over 50 pounds. Now some of you might not be able to lift 50 pounds, so you'll know if you're getting close to that 50-pound mark if you can't lift your own luggage. Now here's some examples of the way I've packed. This right here is a sleeping bag. I've unfolded the sleeping bag, and inside the sleeping bag I've put a tent and a chair. I could actually make this a little longer. It fits in right now at 36 inches long. So I'm an inch under, which is important that I make sure that with the sleeping bag I'm packing it tight. I'm well within the 23 inches. In fact, I'm sitting right now at 13. I could put something else here. And for the depth, same situation. I'm about 13 inches. So I could add something to this bag. The question is it going to be heavy? Right now with a chair, a sleeping bag, and a tent, it's only about 13 pounds. So I got plenty of more room to go, providing I don't go any longer and I know my height and my depth. So that's one way of packing. Now, because you're going to need certain things to be comfortable, and I know a lot of people are worried about the food situation, is that I would strongly suggest you go through the list and see if you can bunk with someone, or contact me about who you might be able to bunk with. Because think about it, it's one less tent you need to carry over. It also gives you an opportunity to maybe pack, this one's a little heavier. I have an ice chest here that I bungee cord to 2 chairs, making sure that the chairs are evenly tied to the ice chest. If any of this still falls apart during the boat ride, it can be a mess trying to get those items back. But I know for the overall length that I'm sitting at 36 inches, I have at least a 4-inch difference before 23 inches and another 4 inches this way. So I'm well within my limit. This is weighing right now about 13 pounds without ice and food. But I could carry this over as an ice chest, and since I packed some of my additional items, it's possible that I could, as I put this back down, it's possible that I could bring this as well as another big giant item. Now, what I'm going to do is I got this monstrous bag, and if I decide not to rent some of the equipment that they have on the island, and you'll see this in your email that will be sent to you, or on the Facebook main page site for Catalina, is that you can rent a tent. I believe for a 4-person tent it's about $25 a day. You can even rent a sleeping pad for about $5 a day. And maybe that's a better way to go. But I like bringing a comforter. And this comforter I can fold in half, and it gives me enough cushion to get me off the ground. But maybe renting that pad for $5 is a good way to go as well. If you don't want to bring a tent, you can rent that 4-person tent. I have a huge bag. This bag's about 36 inches long, which is perfect. It gets me 1 full inch below where I would be over. In that bag, I can put just about anything. Even with this giant queen comforter, I can stuff a tent in here, I can stuff a sleeping bag in here, I can stuff my rum in here, and of course my clothes. Bungee cords are really going to help you out. And the best place to probably get them at is at Big 5 or any of the local sporting good places. Walmart probably has them extremely cheap. You want to make sure that whatever bungee cord size you get, it's going to be tight around your packaging, around what you're bringing. Now, essentials. You're definitely going to need sunscreen. You really should bring a hat. You don't have to go into the water at Catalina, but it's fun. It would be really cool if you wore even just one pirate patch, but you don't have to. It is a situation about relaxing and having fun. I strongly suggest that you bring a chair. More than likely your cots are going to be too long, and more than likely they're going to be too heavy. Most cots weigh in at almost 20 pounds. That means it's almost half of what you can pack over in a one-package situation. Food. There is a cafe. There is a restaurant. Online, You can actually even order your groceries and have your groceries delivered to your campsite if you want to do that. So there is a little general store and they sell vegetables and things like that. There is running water up at the campsite. Not sure if you're going to like the taste of it. You can buy bottled water at the grocery store. For packaged food, what I'm doing is in the morning I'm bringing breakfast bars, or maybe my favorite little bits, Aussie Bits, brought to you by Probably Not Australia. Also packaged tuna. Rather than cans, I find the little packaging of tuna to be the best way to go. Super easy to open, easy to eat. But there are a lot of little packaging goods that you can get that will easily fit into your bag and won't weigh you down. Oh sure, I'm going to definitely eat over at the cafe. I might even have a buffalo milk. Well, you don't know what that is. And you drink, you probably won't remember what it is after you drink it. But there are going to be a lot of non-drinkers too, and I don't want you to worry. Plenty of water on the island, even through a drought, and the general store is going to have the things that you need. You can over-package whatever you want. And you are going to need to drink lots of water during the day. You are in sun, probably more than likely for most of the day in full sun. Now for things that I'm not covering in this video, please feel free to email me. But make sure you read the email that I'm sending out, because it's going to cover a lot of the things that I didn't speak about.